Hey, so I've just watched Prime Minister's Questions. If you're from outside the UK, summed up, basically that is an opportunity once a week. It's sort of a tradition whereby the Prime Minister will address questions from the House of Commons from elected members of Parliament. And usually there is a procedure whereby the Leader of the Opposition asks, I think, about 3 or 4 questions. The leader of the third party, which at the moment is Angus Robertson of the SNP in the House of Commons. He's not the leader of the party, but he's the leader in their leader in the House of Commons. Will ask a few questions, and then individual members can ask questions on policy and constituency matters. That's generally the way it goes. Now, today's Prime Minister's Questions comes a day after Theresa May has announced a June the 8th general election, which you'll see from my previous video. Rather than have a big long video discussing the whole situation, because there is a lot to discuss, what I'm going to do is make individual videos focusing on individual parties. Not every single party in the United Kingdom, but the main parties that will focus in this general election. And I'm just going to discuss in each video a bit about those parties. So that's it really. Keep tuned for those. Regarding today's Prime Minister's Questions, just say a quick few words about it. I was actually surprised that the questions about the general election were relatively. It seemed like a normal Prime Minister's Questions in some ways. It didn't seem like it was entirely dominated by this upcoming general election. So yeah, that's interesting. I think Jeremy Corbyn performed well. I actually think in Prime Minister's Questions he's always performed quite well, which is a bit of a difference from how he's perceived on the national stage. But yeah, there's not a great deal more to say. I'm going to actually, what I'll do is I'll encompass the Conservative Party into this video because it is the governing party at the moment. So Theresa May has made this call for a general election. I believe overall it's a smart move because she has all the cards. She has enjoyed a very long honeymoon period. Now, I do believe it is likely more that the opposition parties seem so weak at the moment rather than she seems to be a great Prime Minister. I don't think she is a great Prime Minister, but I feel that she has come about at a relatively lucky time when her main opposition is in disarray. So from her point of view, it is a good move. Also bearing in mind, she criticised Gordon Brown in 2007. At that time, Brown was actually doing quite well in the opinion polls. So it was a perplexing question why he never took the general election. At the time, he waited till 2010 when he was in a more weakened position and he lost the election. So what we see here is a situation where if a Prime Minister in a strong position, she has nothing to lose. It is a gamble, it's always a gamble, but yeah, I think it's a smart move. I think the Tories, I think a landslide would be maybe a bit out there, but I do think she'll do comfortably well. That's my prediction. I believe the Tories will have a majority government. I don't believe it will be a landslide, but I believe it will be comfortable. Something like the Labour victory in 2001, along that sort of level. So we'll see what happens. Turnout, there could be an issue with turnout because I think people are tired of elections and referendums. That might sound strange to outsiders because we do have less elections in some countries, but by British standards, this will now be the second election in 2 years and really the fourth major political event with the Scottish referendum, the 2015 general election, the 2016 EU referendum, and now another general election. So I do think turnout might be an issue in this, but we'll see. Certainly the interviews that were taking place in Wolverhampton yesterday seemed to favour the Prime Minister's call for a general election. Now, if Wolverhampton, which I lived in for 2 years, is any indication of the wider mood, then that's interesting. Okay, let me know your thoughts and do stay tuned for my videos on the other parties.